Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will be learning about conditional statements. Here, we'll start with if-else statement. But first, we have to clear our project and delete this operators file. For that, right-click upon that file and select delete. OK, go to project and let's clean our project. Let's clear the console and we are good to go. Now, conditional statements are very important when you have to decide whether to follow. We are into our work project. Create a new C source file and we will name it condition.c. We'll create a new file for us and now I'm writing the code and explaining you. As you can see, we have borrowed some code from our previous example where we have two variables a and b and their values are 10 and 5 respectively. Now let's go ahead and write an if statement, which is if inside this bracket we have to give the condition which we want to check. So let me write down a greater than b. Here greater than is a relational operator. So this statement will check whether a is greater than b or not. And if it returns true, then our program will execute this set of statements. Let's simply put a print over here and say a is greater than b. If the condition is false, then it will not execute this path. So let's save our file and run it. Because 10 is greater than 5, therefore a is greater than b, and so that our program executes this statement which prints a is greater than b. But if we slightly change our program and make the value of b is equal to 50, we save it and run it again, it prints nothing because this block of code is not being executed. This is how if statement works in C. Now let's go ahead and have a look at else. When we use if and else together, it gives us the opportunity to execute a specific block of statements if the condition is false. Let's say in this case b is greater than a. Let's save it and run this program. It says b is greater than a. Why? Because in the else block we have this b is greater than a statement, and because our condition was false, it executes the else block. This is how we can work with if else statements and make decisions in our program. That's it for this conditional statements tutorial. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will be learning about switch conditional statement. Switch is a statement that allows a variable to be tested over a list of values. In this tutorial, we will be going through the switch statement, and I will explain you how it works and how can you use that in your program. I have already written the code, so let's just open that. It's a very simple program which have included standard io.h. There is just one main method. Here we have a character grade and I have assigned its value A. Then we are printing your result is. Then this is our switch statement. Now in the switch bracket you have to write the expression. Here we are given grade, and then every option or every value from our list has to be represented as a case. So case A, printf, very good, and break. This means if this grade matches this case, it will execute this statement or this block of statements, and then it breaks. Second is case B. So if the grade is B, it will print good and then break. That means if any of the case matches with the expression, it executes the block of code. In the end, we have our default, which prints average. Now let's run this program, and as you can see, it shows your result is good. It's very good. Now it is very good because our grade was A, and so it has executed this line of code. Let's change our grade to C and run our program again. It asks for save changes, press yes, and it says your result is poor. Now it says your result is poor because our grade was C and this case C is matched. If we type D and run our program, it should be matching with the grade with this D, and so this block of statement should execute, and it should be your result is bad. Let's execute. Exactly. So if this expression matches with any of this case, it executes the block of statement false along with that case. If our expression is not being matched with any of this case, it will look for default. Let's say our grade is Z, we save the file, so it is not matching with any of these cases. Let's run this. It says your result is average because it executed this block of statement. If expression is not matching with any case, it will look for default. So this is how switch statement works in C. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will be learning about for loop in C programming language. For loop allows us to execute a loop from a specific initialization to a specific end. I have already written code for for loop. Let me show you. This is our for loop code, which is very basic and easy. There is just one standard input output and a main function. Here you can see the for keyword. In the first block, we have initialized a variable, and in for loop, this part is called initialization, where our loop initialize. Second block is the condition. It dictates until when the loop will execute. And the third block represents the increment or decrement. That means the change in the variables during the loop. Inside the curly brackets are the block of statements which is to be executed along with this loop. Here we have printf, the value of x is equal to %t, new line. That means it will print the value of x. So each time the loop executes, our console window will be having one statement and a new value of x. Let's take a look here. X is being initialized at 0, and at every execution its value will be increased by 1, and it will be done recursively until x is less than 5. So let's run this program. You can see x is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That means our loop is being executed 5 times, starting from 0. Then it prints the value of x is equal to 0. Its value is increased by 1, and it prints the value of x is equal to 0. The same thing happens recursively until the x is equal to 5, when this time the value of x is equal to 4, and after that its value will be increased by 1, and so this condition will be false and our loop will break. This is how the for loop works in C programming language. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will be learning about while loop. While loop is also very popular looping statement in C programming language. So I have already written the code of while loop, and I will show you and teach you how you can use while loop in your program. We are running on Eclipse IDE for C and C++ development. This is our while loop code, where we have stdio.h included, main function. We have initialized one integer x, and its value is 1, and this is our while keyword. In the expression, we have to give the checking expression, so it will check for that expression. If this expression is true, then the loop will execute, and if the statement or the expression is false, the loop will break. It is as simple as that. So we are checking x is less than 7. So while x is less than 7, this loop will execute. And inside our statements, we have printf, the value of x is equal to x. That means it will print the value of x. And then we have one post increment operator, which is a special type of operator that increases the value of the integer by 1. That means it is similar to x is equal to x plus 1. So it is printing the value of x and then increasing its value by 1. Then it will be checking this expression again. So if this is true, then it will execute the loop and check for this statement. So this is how our while loop works. Let's run it. It asks for the changes and we will save it. And as you can see, the value of x is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. After printing 6, it has increased the value of x by 1. That means x is equal to 7 here. And then while it checks this expression, it is false because x is equal to 7 and is not less than 7. So it becomes false and the loop breaks. This is how the while loop works in C programming language. Thank you.